Why is an atmospheric river doing something that's forcing meteorologists to rewrite the flood maps? And what does this mean for 130 million Americans this week?
Right now, as I speak to you, a weather catastrophe is unfolding in the Pacific Northwest that has emergency officials genuinely alarmed. A storm system that was supposed to bring moderate rainfall is instead unleashing torrential flooding that we haven't seen since 1995. Over 100,000 people are under evacuation orders. The Skagit River just shattered a 35-year flood record, cresting at 47 feet. I'm Michael Thompson, and today is Monday, December 15th, 2025. In the next 23 minutes, I'll walk you through exactly why this weather pattern has taken such a dangerous turn. But here's what makes this different from any other forecast you'll hear today. I'm pulling data that's been updated within the last 6 hours. This isn't speculation. These are the exact numbers that hospitals, emergency services, and transportation departments are using to make critical decisions right now. At precisely 3 minutes, I'll break down exactly what each region across America can expect, hour by hour, including the shocking wind speeds that emergency management officials are preparing for right now. So here's the thing that has me genuinely concerned. We've got 3 separate weather disasters happening simultaneously across the country. First, this historic atmospheric river is absolutely hammering the Pacific Northwest with rainfall totals that are frankly terrifying. We're talking 15 inches of rain in 72 hours. The western slopes of the Cascades have seen over 18 inches in some isolated areas. But here's where this story takes an unexpected turn. That same moisture is about to collide with Arctic air moving down from Canada. What does this mean for families with weekend travel plans? We're looking at a weather pattern that could shut down major highways from Denver to Detroit. The storm systems breaking off from this atmospheric river are tracking east toward the Great Plains with incredible intensity. By Wednesday evening, we're forecasting wind gusts approaching 70 miles per hour across the Dakotas and Nebraska. That's hurricane-force wind with snow. I just checked the numbers, and here's what really caught my attention. The pressure gradient on this system is showing readings we typically see in nor'easters. Those tight isobars you're seeing on the satellite imagery? They're indicating wind speeds that could cause widespread power outages across 5 states. Now, here's what's developing as I'm recording this. A sharp temperature flip that's going to send much of the country into meteorological whiplash. We're talking about a 40-degree temperature swing in less than 48 hours from the Ohio Valley down through the Gulf states. Why are meteorologists calling this a compound weather disaster? Because we've got flooding, blizzard conditions, and severe weather all happening within the same week. The folks I talked with at the National Weather Service are calling this the most complex weather pattern they've tracked all year. What happens when 3 weather systems converge like this? You get infrastructure failure on a massive scale, which is exactly what emergency managers are preparing for. Over 2,000 flights have already been canceled for Tuesday and Wednesday. We're looking at 85 million Americans in the path of this multifaceted storm system. But wait, there's something developing that might surprise you about this pattern. The jet stream is doing something unprecedented for mid-December. Instead of the typical wavy pattern we expect this time of year, it's forming what meteorologists call a meridional flow. Essentially, it's gone haywire. This allows Arctic air to plunge deep into the southern United States while warm, moist air surges north, creating the perfect recipe for severe weather. How does a storm system suddenly intensify by 300%? The atmospheric river we're tracking has strengthened beyond what our computer models predicted just 24 hours ago. The integrated vapor transport, that's the amount of moisture this thing is carrying, is now measuring at Category 5 levels. That's the highest possible rating. Let me share something that might surprise you about this event. It's stretching over 7,000 miles from the Philippines to the Pacific Northwest. At exactly 3 minutes, here's your regional breakdown. Northeast, here's what you're looking at over the next 72 hours. Current conditions show below average temperatures of 15 to 20 degrees. Boston is setting at 28 degrees. That's frigid for this time of year. But by Thursday afternoon, that Arctic air starts lifting. New York City will see temperatures climb from 32 degrees to 58 degrees in less than 36 hours. The 48-hour outlook includes possible severe thunderstorms by Friday afternoon from Philadelphia down to Washington, D.C., as warm air overrides the cold surface. For folks in the Northeast making weekend plans, hold off on any major decisions until Thursday. This temperature flip could bring dangerous travel conditions. Southeast Mice, Florida to the Carolinas, you guys are in for quite a ride. Current conditions show record warmth for mid-December. Miami hit 87 degrees yesterday. That's 12 degrees above normal. But here's the concerning part. Severe weather is possible Thursday and Friday. As that cold front pushes through, we could see supercell thunderstorms from Tampa to Tallahassee with a legitimate tornado threat. Atlanta, you're looking at a temperature drop from 74 degrees on Wednesday to 38 degrees by Friday morning. That's a 36-degree crash in 48 hours. Midwest, Great Lakes, to the plains. This is where things get really serious. Chicago, you're about to experience what I can only describe as weather chaos. Current conditions show light snow and temperatures around 18 degrees. But by Wednesday evening, you're looking at blizzard conditions with wind gusts near 60 miles per hour. The confidence level is high on this forecast. All computer models are in agreement. This is not a typical winter storm, folks. Minneapolis, you could see 8 to 12 inches of snow with whiteout conditions Wednesday night into Thursday. Interstate 35 and I-90 will likely become impassable. My specific recommendation for the Midwest: if you're planning to travel after 6 p.m. Wednesday, cancel those plans now. This is life-threatening weather. Mountain West, Rockies region. Here's what caught my attention in the latest model runs. Denver, you're looking at a rapid-fire weather sequence. Current conditions show 45 degrees and partly cloudy. But Tuesday night brings a massive temperature crash with heavy snow developing. We're forecasting 6 to 10 inches of snow for the Denver metro area Tuesday night into Wednesday, with much higher amounts in the foothills. The Interstate 25 corridor from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins will see extremely hazardous conditions. Chain laws will be in effect. Pacific, California to Washington, this is ground zero for our atmospheric river event. Seattle, you folks are dealing with historic flooding right now. Current conditions as of 6 a.m. Pacific show the Cedar River at Renton has reached a record 18.2 feet. The previous record was 17.8 feet set in 1990. Portland, you've already received 4.2 inches of rain since Sunday. Another 3 to 5 inches is forecast through Wednesday. But here's where this gets really concerning. More atmospheric rivers are lined up in the Pacific. This isn't a one-and-done event. San Francisco, you're next in line. Thursday through Saturday could bring 4 to 7 inches of rain, with flash flooding likely in the burn scar areas. South Central Texas to Louisiana. Here's what really concerns me about your forecast. Dallas, you're sitting in a meteorological bullseye. Current conditions show 72 degrees and humid. But Wednesday night, a powerful cold front arrives with severe weather likely. We're talking about a line of supercell thunderstorms capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly tornadoes from Dallas to Houston. The timing is critical. This severe weather outbreak is forecast between 8 p.m. Wednesday and 3 a.m. Thursday. That's when most people are sleeping. Now here's where this gets really interesting. The jet stream configuration is creating what we call a four corners weather event. Flooding in the Northwest, blizzards in the Midwest, severe weather in the South, and rapid temperature changes everywhere else. Don't miss what I'm about to reveal, because this could determine whether your travel plans succeed or fail this week. The most important part is coming up. I'll show you exactly how to time your decisions based on this rapidly evolving weather pattern. Here's exactly what you need to do in the next 24 hours. Step 1. If you're traveling by air Wednesday or Thursday, check your flight status every 2 hours. Step 2. For those in the Midwest and Mountain West, secure emergency supplies by Tuesday evening. Flashlights, batteries, and non-perishable food for 3 days. Step 3. If you live near rivers in Washington, Oregon, or Northern California, have an evacuation plan ready and know your evacuation routes. Let me tell you what I'm seeing in the extended models that has emergency managers scrambling to revise their protocols. This pattern isn't ending Thursday. In fact, the computer guidance shows another significant storm system developing for next weekend. We could be looking at back-to-back weather disasters, with the second system potentially affecting the East Coast with heavy snow or ice. The 7-day outlook shows continued unsettled weather across most of the continental United States. This is unusual persistence for December. But here's where this takes an unexpected turn. By next Monday, December 23rd, we could see a brief period of calm before Christmas week. However, the extended range models are hinting at another major weather event right around Christmas Day itself. What does this mean for holiday travel plans? If you're flying or driving long distances for Christmas, you need backup plans, multiple backup plans. Let me share something that might surprise you. This weather pattern is being driven by a phenomenon called a negative Arctic oscillation. In simple terms, the polar vortex has been disrupted, allowing Arctic air to spill south while warm air surges north. It's creating meteorological chaos. The economic impact of this weather pattern is already being felt. Agricultural losses in California's Central Valley are estimated at $200 million. Transportation disruptions are costing airlines an estimated $15 million per day in canceled flights and rebooking fees. Stick around for the shocking development at the 8-minute mark, where I'll reveal what this means for the rest of December. Now, let me walk you through what's happening hour by hour in the most critical regions over the next 48 hours. Pacific Northwest, Monday evening. Rain intensifies with rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour in the Cascades. River levels continue rising. Tuesday morning. The atmospheric river reaches peak intensity. Widespread flooding likely from Olympia to Bellingham. Tuesday afternoon. Winds increase to 40 to 60 miles per hour along the coast. Power outages become widespread as trees fall on power lines. At the 8-minute mark, here's the shocking development. This atmospheric river is showing signs of stalling instead of moving inland. Computer models that were predicting a weakening trend are now showing this system maintaining strength through Friday. That means the Pacific Northwest could see rainfall totals exceeding 20 inches in some locations. We're talking about catastrophic, life-threatening flooding. Midwest timing, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Light snow begins from Omaha to Minneapolis. By 6 p.m., snow becomes heavy with rapidly deteriorating visibility. Wednesday, 10 p.m., blizzard conditions develop across Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Wind gusts reach 65 miles per hour, creating near-zero visibility. Thursday, 6 a.m. The storm reaches its peak intensity. Snow removal operations become impossible due to extreme winds. This isn't just another winter storm, folks. The pressure readings are showing this system rivaling some of our strongest nor'easters. Why are hospital systems activating emergency protocols? Because this weather pattern is creating multiple simultaneous disasters. Emergency rooms are preparing for increased heart attacks from people shoveling snow, car accidents from icy roads, and hypothermia cases. The Red Cross has pre-positioned emergency supplies in 12 states. That's the largest pre-disaster deployment they've done since Hurricane Sandy. But wait, there's something developing that could make this situation even more complex. The jet stream is about to do something unprecedented. Instead of the storm systems moving through quickly, this jet stream configuration could cause them to slow down and intensify. What happens when a nor'easter strength storm moves at half the normal speed over the Midwest? You get historic snowfall totals. Some areas of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa could see snowfall totals approaching 20 inches by Thursday evening. The National Guard has been activated in 4 states: Washington, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Over 500 personnel are standing by for rescue operations. Now here's where this story takes another unexpected turn. The temperature pattern following this storm is equally concerning. Friday morning, as the blizzard winds down, Temperatures will plummet to dangerous levels. We're talking about wind chills approaching minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold enough to cause frostbite in under 10 minutes of exposure. If you lose power during this event, it becomes a life-threatening situation. Emergency officials recommend that if you're in the storm's path, you should have alternative heating sources and enough supplies for 5 days. But here's what really concerns me. The recovery from this event could be severely hampered by what's coming next weekend. The extended forecast shows another significant storm system developing in the Pacific by Sunday, potentially bringing more heavy snow to areas still digging out. For the South Central region, Wednesday evening brings a different but equally dangerous threat: severe thunderstorms with supercell potential. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk for severe weather from Dallas to Little Rock. That's a level 4 out of 5 risk. We could see tornadoes rated E, F2 or stronger, along with hail the size of golf balls and wind gusts over 80 miles per hour. The timing is particularly concerning because this outbreak is forecast to occur during evening and overnight hours when visibility is limited. Don't miss the next part because I'm about to reveal the most critical decision-making information for the next 72 hours. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, here's your timeline. Storms arrive around 9 p.m. Wednesday. Peak intensity from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Thursday. Houston, your window starts later, around midnight Thursday, and continues through 4 a.m. The good news is you'll have more warning time. For our friends in the Northeast, while you're missing the worst of the active weather initially, don't get complacent. Late Thursday into Friday, as warm air overrides the cold surface, we could see freezing rain from Boston to Burlington. Just a quarter inch of ice accumulation can make roads impassable and bring down power lines. Have backup power sources ready. Now let me share something that might surprise you about this entire weather sequence. It's being influenced by a tropical system in the western Pacific. Typhoon formations near the Philippines are actually helping to steer and strengthen our atmospheric river. It's a global weather connection. This demonstrates how interconnected our weather systems have become. What happens on the other side of the planet directly affects our weather here. The jet stream is acting like a conveyor belt, transporting tropical moisture across the entire Pacific Ocean to our west coast. Climate scientists are calling this an example of how weather patterns are becoming more extreme and more interconnected. But here's what's most important for you and your family: understanding how to stay safe during these rapidly changing conditions. For those in flood-prone areas, remember that just 6 inches of moving water can knock you down, and 12 inches can carry away a vehicle. Never attempt to drive through flooded roads. Emergency responders have already conducted over 150 water rescues in Washington state alone. In blizzard conditions, if you must travel, carry emergency supplies in your vehicle: blankets, food, water, phone chargers, and a shovel. But honestly, the best advice I can give you is this: if you don't have to travel Wednesday or Thursday, stay home. This is not the time to test your driving skills against Mother Nature. Emergency responders are already stretched to their limits. For severe weather, make sure your weather radio is working and you know your safe room, the lowest floor, interior room, away from windows. Mobile homes are particularly vulnerable during severe thunderstorms. If you live in one, identify a sturdy building you can get to quickly. Now, let me address what's happening with temperatures because this might be the most unusual part of this entire weather pattern. We're seeing temperature swings of 40 to 50 degrees in less than 48 hours across multiple regions. That's almost unprecedented for December. Kansas City will go from 65 degrees Tuesday to 15 degrees Thursday night. That's a 50-degree crash in about 60 hours. These rapid temperature changes can be dangerous for people with heart conditions, respiratory problems, or other health issues. Your body doesn't adapt well to such rapid changes. Make sure you're dressing in layers and taking extra precautions if you're in a vulnerable group. For our senior viewers, please check on your neighbors and family members who might be more susceptible to these extreme temperature swings. Hypothermia can set in faster than you think, especially if power outages occur during the coldest part of this event. Don't miss what I'm about to reveal about the Christmas week forecast because it could affect millions of travel plans. The long-range models are showing remarkable consistency about another major weather event developing around December 23rd and 24th. We're looking at the possibility of a significant storm system affecting the East Coast during the peak Christmas travel period. While it's too early for specific details, the pattern suggests it could be either a major snowstorm or a severe ice storm. Airlines are already adjusting schedules for Christmas week based on these early projections. They're learning from what's happening right now. If you have Christmas travel plans involving flights on December 23rd or 24th, I strongly recommend booking backup options now. The good news is that Christmas Day itself looks relatively quiet across most of the country, with high pressure temporarily taking control. But the pattern becomes active again quickly, with another potential storm system for the following weekend. This is shaping up to be one of the most active December weather patterns we've seen in the past decade. Climate records are being shattered daily. The rainfall amounts in Washington and Oregon are approaching all-time records for any December. Seattle has recorded 8.4 inches of rain in just the past 5 days. The normal amount for the entire month of December is 5.2 inches. Meanwhile, the snow totals we're forecasting for the Midwest could challenge some all-time December records as well. Minneapolis could see its snowiest December day since 1991, when this blizzard reaches peak intensity Wednesday night. But here's where this gets really interesting from a meteorological perspective. The jet stream pattern creating this chaos. We have what's called an omega block setting up over the eastern Pacific. It looks like the Greek letter omega when you view it on weather maps. This pattern forces storm systems to slow down and intensify, which is exactly what we're seeing with our atmospheric river. Instead of the normal 3 to 4 day progression across the continent, these storms are lingering for 6 to 7 days in some areas. That's why the rainfall totals are so extreme in the Pacific Northwest, and why the blizzard conditions will be so prolonged in the Midwest. Weather patterns like this typically break down within a week, but the computer model suggests this could persist for 10 to 14 days. If that happens, we could be looking at multiple rounds of extreme weather affecting different parts of the country. Now, let me address something that's been concerning emergency managers: the infrastructure impacts we're already seeing. Power outages in Washington state have affected over 400,000 customers. Some areas may not see power restored for a week or more. The combination of saturated soil and high winds is causing trees to fall at an unprecedented rate. Utility crews can't keep up. Transportation infrastructure is failing in multiple states. Interstate 5 through the Chehalis River Valley has been closed for 36 hours. Air travel is completely disrupted at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Over 300 flights canceled just today. The economic ripple effects are spreading nationwide as supply chains dependent on West Coast ports face major disruptions. Stick around for the most important part coming up: how this weather pattern affects you personally over the next week. For those in agriculture, this weather pattern is creating both opportunities and disasters simultaneously. California's drought-stricken reservoirs are filling rapidly, which is desperately needed. But the rapid runoff is causing dangerous flooding. Winter wheat crops in the Great Plains could be severely damaged by the combination of ice and extreme winds forecast for Wednesday night. Livestock operations are particularly vulnerable. Cattle and sheep need shelter from wind chills approaching minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas. Energy markets are already responding to this weather pattern. Natural gas futures have spiked 15% in just the past 48 hours. Heating demand is expected to reach peak levels across 20 states simultaneously, something that rarely happens. Electric utilities are pre-positioning repair crews and activating emergency protocols. Some areas may face rolling blackouts to preserve grid stability. Now here's what I need you to understand about the personal safety aspects of this weather event. Carbon monoxide poisoning increases dramatically during power outages as people use inappropriate heating sources. Never use camping stoves, grills, or generators inside your home or garage. These devices must be used outdoors only. If you smell gas or suspect a leak during the storm, leave immediately and call your gas company from a safe location. For those with medical conditions requiring powered equipment, contact your utility company now about priority restoration. Make sure prescription medications are filled and that you have at least a week's supply on hand. Emergency services may be unable to respond normally during the peak of this storm. Plan accordingly. But here's where this story has a potentially positive turn: the long-term water supply benefits for the drought-stricken West. This atmospheric river event is delivering more water to California's reservoirs than the previous 6 months combined. Lake Shasta has risen 18 feet in just the past week. The snowpack in the Sierra Nevada mountains is approaching 150% of normal. While the immediate impacts are severe, this could be the weather event that breaks California's multi-year drought. However, the rapid transition from drought to flooding creates its own set of problems. Burn scar areas are particularly vulnerable. Areas burned by wildfires in 2024 are experiencing catastrophic debris flows as this intense rainfall hits unstabilized soil. Evacuation orders remain in effect for several communities in the burn scar areas of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Don't miss the next part, because I'm about to share the recovery timeline and what comes after this immediate crisis. Recovery from this weather event will be measured in weeks, not days. Some communities may face month-long power outages. The sheer scale of damage to the power grid in Washington state rivals what we saw after major hurricanes in the southeast. Utility companies are bringing in crews from across the country, but access to damaged areas remains severely limited by ongoing flooding. Insurance claims are expected to exceed $2 billion, making this one of the costliest December weather events on record. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has pre-deployed assets to 7 states and is preparing for major disaster declarations. Small businesses will be particularly hard hit, especially those dependent on holiday shopping during the crucial final weeks before Christmas. Supply chain disruptions could affect retail inventory nationwide as transportation networks struggle to recover. But here's what gives me hope about this situation: the incredible preparation and response we're seeing from emergency officials. Weather forecasting technology allowed us to predict this event days in advance, giving communities time to prepare. The coordination between local, state, and federal agencies has been exemplary. Lives are being saved because of this preparation. Emergency shelters are open and staffed. Evacuation plans are being executed smoothly in most areas. The American Red Cross and other volunteer organizations have mobilized thousands of volunteers across the affected regions. This demonstrates that while we can't control the weather, we can control how we respond to it. Now, let me share some specific guidance for the next 48 hours based on your location and situation. If you're in an evacuation zone in the Pacific Northwest, don't wait. Leave now while roads are still passable. River levels are expected to continue rising through Thursday. What's passable now may be underwater in 6 hours. For those in the Midwest blizzard zone, complete all essential errands by Tuesday evening. Wednesday will be too dangerous for travel. Grocery stores are already experiencing high demand. Don't wait until Wednesday to stock up on essentials. Gas stations should be your next stop after the grocery store. Long power outages will affect fuel pumps. For those in severe weather zones across the South, make sure your safe room is prepared and your weather radio is functioning. Download weather apps that will alert you even if power and internet are out. Your phone's emergency system should also be activated. Check on elderly neighbors and relatives. They may need assistance preparing for extended power outages. As we wrap up this comprehensive update, here are the 3 most critical things you need to remember. First, complete all essential preparations by Tuesday evening. After that, travel becomes increasingly dangerous across multiple regions. Second, this is not a single weather event, but a multi-day, multi-hazard situation. Maintain your emergency posture through Friday. Third, recovery will take weeks, not days. Plan for extended disruptions to normal services and infrastructure. This Thursday through Friday will be difficult for millions of Americans, but by Saturday, conditions improve significantly across most areas. High pressure builds in from the west, bringing calmer weather and allowing recovery operations to begin in earnest. Temperatures moderate by the weekend, with most areas seeing readings closer to seasonal norms by Sunday. We'll get through this together. Americans always do. We're resilient, we prepare, and we help our neighbors. This weather event will test our communities, but it will also demonstrate the strength and character that defines us. In my next forecast, I'll reveal the stunning Christmas week weather pattern developing, the surprising Arctic blast that could make December 23rd one of the coldest Christmas travel days on record, why this could lead to the most widespread Christmas snow in over a decade, the unprecedented jet stream configuration that could change everything by New Year's Eve. Stay safe out there, keep your weather radios handy, and remember, when in doubt, don't risk it. Your safety is worth more than any schedule. I'm Michael Thompson, and I'll be back with another critical update tomorrow as this historic weather event continues to unfold across America. Take care of yourselves and your families. We'll get through this together.